Hiya. How are you? Hope you're doing well. It's a Saturday edition here on April 20th. Record Store Day. Yeah, I actually forgot it was Record Store Day until this morning. I was looking at the list and there literally was nothing on the list. However, I did pick something up, or I got it in the mail yesterday, and I was going to do a brief video on it. I know a lot of you who follow my channel are probably rolling your eyes just looking at the title of this video, but I don't care. A lot of you who have come to my channel expecting dance music review and industrial music review, you'll still get those. That is my main passion, but I also love bands like Pink Floyd, and I'm going to talk about them today. I've always warned that I could do a video like this. I don't care how uncool you guys think this is. I don't really give a shit. I love Pink Floyd as much as anybody. And I got a really cool edition of Dark Side of the Moon yesterday, and I thought I would share it because it's just something that you don't normally see. It does say it's limited too. I don't know what that means. It seems like every single record that gets released these days is limited. I don't know how limited it is, but it's really cool. I thought it was a very solid package, and I've never actually spent my own money in my life on a copy of Dark Side of the Moon. The copy I have was handed down to me from my dad. So I'm going to do a Dark Side of the Moon video right now. So yeah, you old fans of my channel, switch off or stop subscribing. I don't care what you do. I don't really care. I like Pink Floyd. I'm going to talk about them. I also just got myself a new phone. I'm filming myself on my new phone. I have multiple cameras. Usually I film myself on my computer camera, but today I'm mic'd up, as you can see. That's not too annoying, right? Me tapping repetitively tapping on top of my microphone head. Got a new microphone, got a new iPhone 15, and so I thought, let's test this fucker out and see how it goes. Here it is. Yeah, I know. Switch off. I don't care. Stop subscribing to me if you're disgusted by this. I like music, people. I like it all. I have one criteria when it comes to music. Is it good or is it bad? And sometimes the vast majority of the public just gets shit right. Most times they don't get shit right. Most times really popular albums are just shit. Like, I think the Eagles' Greatest Hits is still the highest selling album of all time. The Eagles' Greatest Hits. It's not even an album. It's just a compilation of their greatest hits. So yeah, that is sad and depressing. You will never see me do an Eagles video. You do have that to look forward to. You won't have to suffer through the mundanity of me babbling on about the fucking Eagles. That'll never happen. I'm like the dude in The Big Lebowski when it comes to the Eagles. No, never, ever will I talk about them. But Pink Floyd, come on. I was reared and raised on these guys, like a lot of us, especially those of us who were born in the 70s, as I was. You, there's literally never been a point in my life where this album has not existed. So I like this album. I totally understand why it's as popular as it is, and I'm not going to go into a huge dissertation about this record. There's just endless commentary out there, endless words typed, endless verbalizations spoken about this album. I'm not going to do that. I can only give you my personal take and experience with this album. I got this album. I've owned the original UK edition of this record for a while. My dad had a big record collection growing up, and he gave me his records a couple of decades ago. He stopped buying records probably in the 90s at some point, and he knew that I loved records, and he ended up giving me his copy of his Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, he has all the Pink Floyd records anyway, and he gave them all to me. So I have original issues of most of the good Pink Floyd records. Let me put it that way. Everything, the Roger Waters Pink Floyd records. I have all original issues, either US or UK. I have the original UK issue of Dark Side of the Moon. I've never had to pay for this, ever. My one copy was given to me. That original UK press, I think it's on Harvest, right? I want to say Harvest. Still sounds great. My dad took really good care of it. I've taken good care of it. Sounds fantastic. This issue is basically commemorating the 50-year anniversary of the album, even though it's been 51 years, technically, I guess. Not quite 51, but just over 50. And I thought this was the perfect time for me to pick this up. This album's 50 years old. I am 50 years old. What better time to finally lay my wallet down and pay some money for a record like this? I've always I've always taken some some morbid pride in never having to pay for this album because everybody has this in their collection. But I've always been able to brag I've never paid for that. I haven't had to. I haven't needed to. Well, I finally did. I couldn't help it. When I saw this release, I was like, God, that's fun. That looks like a fun release. And it is. This release did not let me down at all. But that is my personal experience, really. My dad listened to this. Like most people in the 70s who liked rock and roll, my dad loved Pink Floyd. He liked a lot of different stuff. He loved, his big bands were Pink Floyd and James Brown and Otis Redding and Can. He loved Can. He loved Kraftwerk. He liked disco. My dad was all over the place. He just loved music, and I think that's where I get a lot of this bug from, is my dad. He loved it all. It didn't matter who it came from or what genre or style excuse me, what style it was, or what the sex of the person making the music was. He didn't give a shit. He just made music, or he just liked music by whoever made it. Didn't make any difference. And Pink Floyd was in there. He listened to a lot of Pink Floyd. Some of my earliest memories of listening to music is Pink Floyd. Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here, actually, I heard that one more. My dad enjoyed that record more than this one, actually. I'll probably get the 50-year anniversary of that one. That would be coming next year, I would guess, if they do one. But I just grew up in the 70s listening to this. I have this whole record memorized, like the majority of the world. What is that? Get off of there. Uh, so yeah, I grew up with this record, like the majority of people on the planet. And why not? This is a fantastic piece of work. It is not my favorite Pink Floyd record, but it's in the top, well, yeah, top three. I would put "Wish You Were Here" and "Metal" maybe above this one. It's just a personal preference, but how do you pick a favorite Pink Floyd album, especially from the 70s? Like, Animals would be way up there. I think that early mid 70s period was the best for Pink Floyd for me. That's just an opinion, people. All right, take it easy. I know people take shit really personally when it comes to Pink Floyd. I get it, but that is my personal choice. There's no right answer to the best Pink Floyd albums. There is no right answer to that. But yeah, I think maybe I'd put "Wish You Were Here" in Metal a little bit above this one. But you can't lose with any of those records. But I grew up with this. It's been 50 years in all 50 of my years, this album has been present in my life. And I was happy to get this issue. Now, I don't know if this is a US issue or it's just one of those worldwide issues now. A lot of times nowadays, I notice that records just have a worldwide release. There's no difference between the catalog number. It's all the same. I don't know if this is a US issue. I bought this from Amazon. Simple as that. Good old Amazon. And yesterday was its release date. I got release date delivery, and here it is. It comes with this new cover, as you can see. It's got a funky back cover, as you can see. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know that this has been remastered, the music. I wasn't able to tell when I listened to it. And it didn't say that it was or wasn't on the hype sticker. I'll show you the hype sticker. But I don't know. Does anyone know if this has been reissued? Now, this is the main reason I wanted to make the video, just to show it to you, because I know there's a part of my audience that just loves looking at records. So here you go. This comes in like this little slipcase thing here. Slip it off. There's the traditional cover. But yeah, it's like a little slipcase. It's nice. This is glossy. I don't know if you can see the reflection there. When you touch this, it's kind of raised a little bit. Same with the lettering here, like a nice glossy feel and touch to it. So yeah, that's a nice, a nice detail. And then here's the record. I'll show you the hype sticker. I try to keep everything intact. Here's the hype sticker. Again, nothing about a remaster. Maybe it's in the credits somewhere. I haven't taken the time to read the credits yet. I've only opened it and listened to it. So there's the hype sticker. 50th anniversary collector's edition. UV printed art on clear vinyl. Yeah, I don't know collector's edition. Who knows how limited that is, but at any rate, here is the actual release itself. Pink Floyd Records put this out, and they've been reissuing their stuff over the last decade. This is a really solid press, man. You don't get that obnoxious perforation bullshit that you see so much on modern releases, on modern vinyl releases. Very, very high quality cut here, just like old school stuff. No complaints at all about any part of this release, especially physically. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing. And this basically is just aping the original release. You get that cover, and then you kind of flip it over that way, and then there's the other end of it, just like the original. And it is a gatefold. You crack this thing open. There are the lyrics, just like the original. At least my copy. Maybe later pressings you didn't get a gatefold, but that original UK issue you do get a gatefold. And there's that. So again, very nice cut here. No imperfections that I can see. It's just a very nice package here. Now, I'll get to the really good stuff here. I'll show you there's a poster also stuffed in here. I paid $50 for this, by the way. If you're wondering how much it cost, that's a lot of money for me. I usually don't spend that kind of money, but there's just so much shit with it. And it's such a unique release. I thought, fuck it, I'm going to get it. This is the poster you get. And this image is reiterated on the vinyl itself, and I'll show that to you. There's the traditional poster of the cover on the bottom there. So yeah, you get a poster, you get some stuff. I don't really give a shit about posters, but it's cool. They could have not given me a poster. I'll take it. So here's the really good stuff. Here's record 1. This comes on 2 records, and they do come in these polylined inner sleeves, which is perfect. You need to do that. That's essential if you want to care for your vinyl over the years. You need to have these polylined inners. You have to. If you're going to have a true collector's edition, as this states that it is, you have to have this. Otherwise, no. If you're really collecting and you're collecting to keep these things, you need to be able to preserve it. And how do you preserve your records? By polylined inner sleeves. Now, here's the cool stuff. This does come on 2 different records. Each record is one-sided. And they come in these, as it says, UV. It's clear, as you can see. And the labels are like the original release. You'll see here. I have seen other later releases. They all have different labels. Or not all of them. Some of them are different. But this is a reproduction of the original label. This is what it looks like. But look at that. Isn't that kind of cool? Yeah. I'm digging this. Love it. How many records in your collection do you have like this? There aren't many. So yeah, very, very cool. I normally don't really care about this kind of thing, but you switch it over, there's the other label. I usually don't really care about these colored vinyl shit, collector edition, whatever. I just care about the sound. But I'm happy to say that as cool as this looks, usually when you have a record like this, that looks like this, the sound suffers, but not here. These records sound really good. In fact, I played them and it was like, wow. Nice punchy sound, good range of sound. Obviously, it's going to depend on your setup, but I was not disappointed. This record sounds really good. In fact, I don't know that I heard a lot of differences between my original UK issue of this and this. So, yeah, how cool is that? And it's important too, and this is thick. I don't know if it feels thick. I don't know if it's 180 gram thick, but it doesn't matter. I've talked about this before. Just because something's on 180 gram doesn't make it better. It depends on how this is pressed. And this is pressed really well. Sound is excellent. So if those of you who are thinking about buying this are considering sound quality, I recommend this highly. It sounds really good. And the other good thing about a one-sided record is it doesn't really necessarily matter if it's on 180 gram because you're only using one side of the record to create your grooves on, which basically means you can go as deep as you want. You know what I'm trying to say? When you press a record, grooves are on both sides of the record. So in order for those grooves to not infect the other side of the record with the other grooves on the other side, you have to make these thick records. That way the needle can dig deeper into the groove. Well, if you only have a one-sided record, you can kind of dig as deep as you want, and it won't make any difference. And that is the case here. I can see why they wanted to do one-sided records, and it pays off. The sound quality is excellent. No complaints at all, because that was going to be my top scrutiny of this album is what's the sound like, and it sounds good. More polylined inners. I'm pulling out record number 2 now. There you go. You get more UV themed goodness. There's the label. Cool, right? Look at that. And again, sounds really good. Both records sound really nice. Check that out. Looks really cool spinning on your turntable. Yeah. How many records in your collection do you have that look like this? That's right, none. So yeah, I'm not going to go into the music itself. It's there's enough of that. There's been 50 years of oversaturation on opinions of this album, so I'm not doing that. I'm here to show you the coolness of this release, and I would highly recommend this. I absolutely would. I mean, I think most Pink Floyd fans are going to pick this up anyway. It's just a no-brainer. I think you have to pick this up if you're a hardcore Pink Floyd fan. But for someone like me, who doesn't buy a lot of reissues, I'm going to put that back together later. I would recommend this to anybody. We all know this record, I know, but it is kind of a cool way to rediscover and re-listen to this album. I've had some fun digging back into this record. I I like to records that are music that's overplayed and oversaturated on the airwaves. I tend to get really sick of, and even I end up kind of resenting that music. It's not the music's fault; it's just society's fault. And this album is arguably the most overplayed in history. But when I'm ready to listen to an album and I'm able to kind of separate myself from all of the societal pressures of what music is, meaning to the rest of society, because we get told to feel certain ways about everything. And this is definitely one of those moments in musical history, at least, where we're told that we should love this album. We need to love this band. This is one of the few times in history where that is correct. I think this is a great album. It is overplayed. It is oversaturated, but when you're ready to sit down and listen to this and tune out all the bullshit and all the noise, this album can be as beautiful as you want it to be. And when I listened to it yesterday, I was ready to listen to it. And it sounds great. And this pressing is great, and I would recommend this to anybody. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. You know it, you love it. Check this out. This pressing's cool. I would highly recommend it. Thanks. I'll talk to you next time. Later.